What is up, everyone? I'm Rusty, your local laboratory maniac, and this is Labman EDH. I have some wacky, interesting, unique, and powerful decks for you today. Of course, it's the Halloween season. You know that. You've seen the aisles at your local grocery store. You know candies around. So, what we got today is three unique Halloween edition decks for you. They're based off TV or movies that are related to horror somehow or have some kind of horror aspect. Now, I've been stockpiling ideas for Halloween themed decks for a few months now. Ever since I started the channel, I was like, I want to talk about this. No, I'll just wait till Halloween to do that. So stay tuned. I'm going to be posting even more videos this month just because I'm pumped about it. Deck links will be down below. Feel free to comment which one of these decks you'd be afraid to face across the table and tell me your favorite horror movie or horror TV show in the comments as well. Now let's just jump into it. The Flood of Mars is a card I've been building around for a while now. On my channel, I talked about a Bant version of the deck that uses hexproof to protect your creatures while you infect your opponent's creatures. But this deck is going to be a bit different. Let's talk about the Flood of Mars first. It's a 4 mana blue creature. It's an alien zombie horror. It has Island Walk, and then when it attacks, put a flood counter on another target creature or land. If it's a creature, it becomes a copy of the Flood of Mars. If it's a land, it becomes an island in addition to its other's type. It's a 3/3. So it turns any creature into the flood and can turn lands into islands in addition to their normal types, which will be handy because all of our flood has island walk. But you'll have to outrace your opponent because their flood that you're going to be turning, like let's say they have a really cool creature you want to turn into the flood to kind of get it off the board, they also will be unblockable. So keep that in mind. So you probably already know the Flood of Mars is from the Doctor Who set. It's also known as the Water of Mars. It is a water-based virus that only infects water-based organisms. So basically it was in the glacier in Mars and it was released and started to infect the crew of the ship, and then Doctor Who had to deal with it. The mind begins to take actions to spread the virus. And then the body also changes to spread the virus by overproducing water and blasting it out of their mouths. And really, it leaks from every single hole that they have. Their mouth starts to drool, their ears, their eyes, their nose. Their mouth actually starts to become black and forms cracks around it. Their eyes become white and lifeless, but they seem to have similar skills and movements as their previous self, so they're not shambling around all mindless. They are relatively intelligent, and that's what made Doctor Who essentially he had to stop them by exploding the ship so it can't get to Earth. Now, one reason I like the Flood versus other Magic the Gathering related zombies is the Flood spreads itself through a virus. In Magic the Gathering, viruses don't really create zombies, necromancy does. Hence, Magic, of course, they use the magic of creating zombies, necromancy. And that's cool. I don't have a problem with it, but it just doesn't have the same level of fear. Getting eaten alive is obviously terrifying. However, getting eaten alive and then becoming a walking corpse that will in turn kill people is almost 1,000 times scarier to me. Now, necromancy, I'm sure, can do magically based spreading of like a magic disease. I can't recall any Magic the Gathering zombie viruses doing that. We know Liliana's a necromancer, but she brings back people that have been dead for centuries. It's not that same scene in like most zombie movies where people are just chilling, having a chill day, and then zombies start attacking and people start spreading in like seconds and it just like proliferates. That's one reason I like zombie movies. I'm like, dang, that what would I do in that situation? Would I survive? How would I survive? But in necromancy, it's like they cast a spell and bang, you have no chance. Now, hordes of zombies and armies of zombies fits our theme pretty good. We're going to actually use our commander, Sauron the Dark Lord. He's a 6 mana Grixis legendary creature, avatar horror. He has Ward, which is real. This is why I chose him, the main reason. He has Ward. They have to sacrifice a legendary artifact or a legendary creature. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, amass orcs 1. And whenever an army you control deals combat damage to a player, the ring tempts you. And whenever the ring tempts you, you may discard your hand. If you do, draw 4. It's a 7/6. So that ward is huge because as we turn our opponent's stuff, they will attack with theirs and try to turn our stuff. We're not going to have a lot of creatures to turn. We're going to have a lot of tokens that if they want to turn, they go ahead and turn, but it'll be a waste of their time. And we will turn their legendary stuff so they can't target our Sauron. Now, one thing I like about this also is you have to outrace your opponent because they're going to have Island Walk just like you. Armies do that pretty well because it boosts, they get counters placed on them. And we're going to be using a lot of amass card effects. So we're going to hopefully make huge flood of Mars creatures and swing in, turning our opponent's stuff, controlling the board, but also beating face pretty hard. As I said, I don't have many creatures in this deck because I don't want them to turn into the flood and be kind of useless. However, there are a few that we can actually give hexproof with Swiftfoot boots or something like that to keep them around that help boost our zombies and let us outrace our opponents as well. You got Zombie Master, it's a 3-mana black zombie. Other zombies you control have Swamp Walk, so ours will have Swamp Walk and Island Walk. And then other zombies have you pay a black, regenerate this permanent. That's the reason why we want it. And it's a 2/3. And then you got something like Lord of the Undead. It's a 3-mana black as well. It's a zombie lord. All zombies get +1/+1, and you can pay to tap it, return target zombie card from your graveyard to your hand. So that can get us the Flood of Mars, which is huge. Yeah, they get the Flood of Mars back from our graveyard, but we have to actually get it to our hand to begin with. Black has a lot of great tutors, of course, especially for zombies. You can play Demonic Tutor, Vampire Tutor, Grim Tutor. Here's two that I don't see often that are perfect for us. You got Corpse Harvester. It's a 5-mana zombie wizard. You can pay to tap it, sacrifice a creature, search your library for a zombie card and a swamp card, reveal them and put them into your hand, then shuffle your library. Then you got Clutch of the Undercity. It's a 4-mana Dimir instant. You return target permanent to its owner's hand, it loses 3 life. Or you can transmute it for 3. So you discard it for its transmute cost at sorcery speed, tutor for something with the same CMC, which would be 4. So you don't see transmute that often, and it's just utility. Like if you already got your Flood of Mars, you can actually just use this to return something and make them lose 3. So it's versatile. Copying the flood is nice, but also using same name cards is one of the main benefits of playing this deck because the Flood of Mars turns everything into the Flood of Mars, so they all have the same name. Mocking Doppelganger is a good example of this. It's a 4-mana blue shapeshifter, has flash, and it enters as a copy of a creature an opponent controls, except it has other creatures with the same name as this creature are goaded. So we do copy if they have a Flood of Mars copy and we play this, it does copy it as a Flood of Mars. That's a copyable value. I did look it up just to verify. Now, this is going to goad your opponent's stuff so they're not swinging at you with that island walk because you will have islands. Your opponents will be the ones taking the hit. Then you got Pirated Copy. It's a 5-mana blue shapeshifter pirate. It enters the battlefield as a copy of any creature on the battlefield, except it's a pirate in addition to its other types, and it has whenever this creature or another creature with the same name deals combat damage to a player, you draw the card. So basically, your opponents are attacking to any player, they will, and they're unblockable usually because of the island walk. You will be drawing every time they attack. And if you have both these out, they're goaded attacking your opponents and you're drawing cards like crazy. It's just a cool combo. Now, if your opponent would mass recur, make a lot of tokens, or play a lot of creatures at once, you may want to play something like Mystic Reflection. Now, it's a 2-mana instant blue. Choose target non-legendary creature. The next time one or more creatures or planeswalkers enter the battlefield this turn, they enter as copy of the chosen creature. You can foretell it for 1. This also applies to stuff you play. So if you're amassing orcs constantly, your opponent's casting a lot of spells. You play this, you amass orcs 1, they cast another spell. You don't have a orc token anymore because, or an army token because it's a Flood of Mars. Oh, you get another one. It becomes a Flood of Mars and it keeps going. Then you got Day of the Moon. It's another same name card effect. It's a 3-mana red saga. It only has one ability, but three chapters. It's all the same ability. You choose a creature card name, then goad all creatures with a name chosen for Day of the Moon. So basically, you choose obviously Flood of Mars for your first one, and then you can choose two others, and those things are just goaded. I just love same name stuff. You don't see it that often in EDH. Draw and removal are the veggies that you need to eat to play EDH. Coastal Piracy effects is one of the best ways to draw in this deck. Of course, your commander also draws, but hopefully you get your flood out, and most of your creatures will be unblockable, so you'll be hitting damage. So Coastal Piracy effects essentially say when a creature you control deals combat damage to opponent, you draw the card. And then you got stuff like Kindred Summon. Now, your opponents hopefully will have a bunch of zombies, so stuff that specifies zombies, keeping them around and killing everything else will be very beneficial. Kindred Dominance is a 7 mana black sorcery. You choose a creature type, destroy all creatures that aren't of the chosen creature type. There are plenty of ways to make armies in Grixis. And remember, if you make an army, then turn it into a flood, it's only benefiting you. It's gaining more abilities, gaining more power. Mindless Conscription is a zombie army producer. It's a 3 mana black enchantment. When it enters the battlefield or whenever you draw your third card each turn, you amass 3 zombies. Now, that's pretty good. You get a 0/0 with 3+1/+1 counters on it, and then hopefully it gets turned into the flood. Now, curse cloth wrappings is an example of what you might want to put in here instead of those zombie lords I mentioned earlier. If you want to do like anthem effects that help your zombies so those anthem effects can't be turned into the Flood of Mars, you could totally do that. So curse cloth wrappings is a 4 mana black artifact. Zombies you control get +1/+1. You can tap it. Target creature card in your graveyard gains embalm. Until end of turn, its embalm cost is equal to its CMC. So you can also recur the Flood of Mars or whatever you need with this. Zombies are quite the issue to face. Not only will they eat you, they'll also turn you into one of them, loss of your body and your mind in one attack. And that is why they're so terrifying. Some shamble, some sprint, but some spread through water. This next deck I actually own in paper and I have a lot of fun with it. I call it my Killer Clown from Outerspace deck. It's based around the card Clown card. It came in the Infinity set, which was a set, of course, about a circus in space. Clown card is an X mana artifact vehicle. When it ETBs, you roll X six-sided dice. For each odd, you get a 1/1 white clown. For each even, you get a +1/+1 counter on clown card. And it has crew 2 and it's a 1/1. So hopefully you make a bunch of clowns to help crew it and then boost it a little bit. Hopefully X is pretty high. Now, Kill a Clown from Outer Space is a horror movie. It's a B-rated horror movie that has kind of grown in popularity. It had its own video game made last year, even though it came out, I think, in the 80s. So it's like becoming a cult classic that people love to watch. The phobia, if you didn't know this, obviously crowns are pretty creepy. Everyone hates them. The phobia for them is chlorophobia. Now, chloro means stilt walker in Latin. Now, a quick story about how clowns have gripped the fear of everybody, at least in the United States. When I was in the Navy in like 2012, I got out of boot camp, right? And they don't tell us any news at all. And when we get out, we start hearing the news that has been going on. Well, that was when everyone started to like dress up like clowns and stand out in the woods and stand out in creepy places. It was almost like a national phenomenon. People were dressing like clowns and just existing, which terrified people. That's how much Americans hate clowns. You got it from Pennywise from It. There's just so many, like John Wayne Gacy dressed up. He was a serial killer dressed up like clowns. So we just do not trust them. And that's what makes this movie scary. Speaking of the movie, the plot of the movie goes like this. And don't worry, I won't include spoilers in case you want to watch it. A meteor falls on a small town in California. Teens investigate to find a group of murderous aliens that look like circus clowns. They warn the police, but no one believes them, obviously. The killer clowns actually set up shop in a huge circus tent, normal circus tent attractions, all that stuff, or so it would appear. Except they are actually kidnapping anyone that visits. They put them in giant cotton candy cocoons and it starts to dissolve the humans, and then they drink it with a straw, much like you see a spider. A spider will wrap up its prey, inject some poison, dissolve it, and then drink it through their fangs. That's almost what they would do. And they had ridiculous weapons. They had all these crazy circus themed weapons, almost like they were like a Batman villain. It's a really good movie. Check it out. Now, in Magic the Gathering, there are two types of clowns we have seen. Those from Infinity, which was like a space circus theme attraction, like park kind of thing. And then those from Duskmore, which had a very different feel. Those are the creepy clowns that you definitely don't want to run into. Now, Infinity was a fun non canon set. It was a circus theme set around something called attractions. And I never actually see anyone play them, which is a shame because they're pretty fun. Now, let's go over the rules of attractions because they have their own set of rules. And now be careful before picking your attractions. Make sure you're looking at the bottom of the card. If you see an acorn symbol, this set was different. There's no silver border cards. They're acorn cards and non acorn cards. Do not pick the acorn cards, they are not legal in Commander. Now, the attractions sit in the attraction deck, which in Commander, you have to have a minimum of 10. So it's a separate deck, doesn't count towards your deck's total. You place an attraction in play when you open an attraction. There are cards that say to open attractions, and we'll go over them. During your pre combat main phase, you roll a dice to get the corresponding number on the attraction. Numbers will be lit up on the right. We'll talk about that too. Hitting the right number is called visiting the attraction, and that is when the ability of the attraction will trigger. Now, the attractions, when destroyed, aren't put into the graveyard. They are put in the junkyard, which is similar to a command zone. It's outside. There's nothing that actually gets anything from the junkyard. So once they're destroyed, they're gone for good. I believe there's a total of 15 playable commander attractions. Deadbeat Attendant is an example of something that opens an attraction. It's a 2 mana black vampire employee. When it enters the battlefield, open an attraction, and the reminder text says, put the top card of your attraction deck onto the battlefield. It's a 1/1. So, an example of an attraction is the Hall of Mirrors. Now, every attraction is an artifact and has the visit ability. And on the right side of the attraction are those numbers we talked about. There's 6 numbers total, but only 2, maybe 3 are lit up. These are the numbers you want to roll when you visit an attraction at your pre combat main phase. There are multiple versions of each attraction. For example, okay, Hall of Mirrors is an artifact attraction that says visit. Choose target creature you control. Each other creature you control becomes a copy of that creature until the end of the turn, except it's not legendary if it's the chosen creature is legendary. So there's so many good utility effects in attractions. And what I mean by multiple versions of each attraction is this. Look at this card, there's Balloon Stand. On the right side where you see the numbers lit up, each one has a different number, even though it's the same exact ability, same exact name, same exact card. So when you're picking out your attraction deck, you want to align all the numbers so you hit jackpot essentially every time you get the right numbers. So if I picked numbers 3 and 6, so I'm going to be playing cards that manipulate dice totals. So I always want to try to get that 3 or that 6. I think every single attraction hits on 6 and then another number. Some hit on 3 numbers. So who is the commander for this deck? Most open attraction cards are ETB abilities. So Yarok would be a great commander for this deck. It's the one I picked. It actually will let you open 2 attractions per trigger. Now, it is a 5 mana Sultai legendary creature elemental horror. Has death touch and lifelink. If a permanent enters the battlefield, which causes a trigger ability of a permanent you control to trigger, it triggers an additional time, and it's a 3/5. And then for fun, I included Haunted House as one of the attractions, which fits obviously our Halloween theme. It's an artifact attraction. It says visit, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. It gains haste, exile at the beginning of your next end step. Here are 3 other examples of attractions. We won't go over all 15. You can look them up, but here's just 3 examples. Notice that they mostly align with at least 2 numbers on the right. You got Storybook Ride. It's an artifact attraction. It says visit exile the top X card to your library, where X is the number of attractions you visited this turn. You may play those cards this turn. At the beginning of your next instep, if any of those cards remain exiled, put them on the bottom of your library in any order. You got Information Booth. It's visit, draw a card. And you got Kitty Coaster. It's visit, creatures you control get +1/+0 until end of turn. Now, these are artifacts, like I said, so you can play stuff that copies them. So, of course, you only have 15 attractions in your attraction deck. You can still have more attractions by copying them. Since there are a lot of dice rolling in this deck, you might want to play cards that allow you to change the result, like some kind of protagonist in a Yu Gi Oh show. Cheating, but legal. You got Bamboozling Beeble. It's a one blue Beeble, says protection from robots, pay one, tap it. The next time, target player would roll one or more dice. Instead, they roll that many dice plus one, and you get to ignore one of the results, and it's a 1/1. Then, actually, in D&D, they had a lot of dice rolling. So, Feywild Trickster is from that set. It's a 3 mana blue gnome warlock. It says whenever you roll one or more dice, create a 1/1 blue fairy dragon creature token with flying, and it's a 2/2. In terms of ending the game, you have a lot of cool options. I like Tezzeret, Master of the Bridge, for this because he was actually in Edges of Eternity, so he's been to space. He's a 6 mana Dimir legendary planeswalker. Creatures and planeswalker spells you cast have affinity for artifacts. Then he has 3 loyalty abilities. +2, he deals X damage to each opponent, where X is the number of artifacts you control. You gain X life. -3, return target artifact card from your graveyard to your hand. And then -8, exile the top 10 cards of your library. Put all artifact cards from among them onto the battlefield. And it's 5. So really, we only really need that +2 ability to keep doing damage. Your opponent will also attack this for sure. So, I mean, that's unfortunate. And the static ability is really good. But we only need the static and then the +2 ability. We could care less about the -8. Then you can animate your attractions like you're in some kind of Disney movie with something like Rise and Shine. It's a 2 mana blue sorcery. Target non creature artifact you control becomes a 0/0 artifact creature. Put 4 +1/+1 counters on each artifact that became a creature this way, and it has an overload for 6. So you essentially make an army of attractions and swing in for game. Now, like I said, I have a deck list down below, but you can kind of spice and flavor this deck however you want. You can get all the shock lands that are legal in this deck that came from the Infinity set, for example. They also had full art space basic lands in that set. I believe they also had them in Edge of Eternities. You can put the spaceships from Edge of Eternities. You can put as many space references as you want, as many clown references as you want. And that way you can make a real killer clown from Outerspace deck. This next deck can be connected to many horror movies: the Hocus Pocus movie, Blair Witch, The Ritual. But the one I prefer and would suggest you watch this Halloween season if you like scary movies is The Witch. Now, we'll talk about that movie in a second, but let's go over what this deck is about. It's obviously about a witch. You got Bogbrew Witch. It's a 4 mana black human wizard. You pay 2, tap it, search a library for a card named Festering Newt or Bubbling Cauldron, put it onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle your library. And it's a 1/3. Now, Bubbling Cauldron is a 2 mana artifact. You pay 1, tap it, sacrifice a creature, you gain 4 life. Where you pay 1, tap it, sacrifice a creature named Festering Newt. Each opponent loses 4 life. You gain life equal to that life lost. Then you got Festering Newt. It's a 1 mana black salamander. When it dies, target creature an opponent controls gets -1/-1 until end of turn. That creature gets -4/-4 instead if you control a creature named Bogbrew Witch. So what we want to do is get all 3 of this out and keep sacrificing Festering Newt, getting it back, sacrificing it, dealing 4 damage to each opponent, or they lose 4 life, and you gain 12. It's a pretty big swing. Also, we'll be doing Spy Kit shenanigans because it just needs to be named Festering Newt. So Spy Kit will do that, and so will Psychic Papers. The Witch is a time period piece taking place back in the first years of the settlers. Their community was highly religious and close knit. However, this helped them survive, but also it caused trouble for those who didn't play along. William, the father, was far more religious and zealous in his practices, which was saying something back in the day, which caused tension between him and the community. This made him get exiled by the settlement, so he built a house with his family away from the others, alone to fend for themselves in a new strange land, in a new strange world, and that is when stuff starts going down. The daughter, Thomason, is watching her siblings when the baby of the family goes missing. It was taken by a witch. A cascade of events leads the family to slowly turn on each other. The children claim Satan was speaking to them. The central theme of the movie is family, and it is important to keep the family around. Everyone has a key piece and role in their family. Now, I'm not going to spoil what happens in the movie for the rest of it. However, I will say it's really good. Check it out. Also, never trust the goat. For Commander, I pick Ravos, Soul Tender, and Sakashima of a Thousand Faces. Now, I just wanted the Esper colors, and I like Ravos in this deck, but you can choose another Commander. The Commander isn't set in stone. So Ravos is a 5 mana Orzhov legendary creature, human cleric, has flying. Other creatures you control get +1/+1. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand and has partner into 2/2. So that last ability of bringing back a creature at your upkeep to your hand is really good because we're going to get Festering Newt back. Then you got Sakashima of a Thousand Faces. You've probably seen this guy before. He becomes a copy of any creature you control, except for he keeps the same Sakashima of a Thousand Faces name, and the legend rule doesn't apply to you. Spy Kit and Psychic Papers are both 2 mana artifacts that are also equipments. Spy Kit gives equipped creature +1/+1 and has all names of non legendary creature cards in addition to its name, and it's equipped too. Psychic Papers says when as it becomes attached to a creature, you choose a creature card in name and the creature type. And then equipped creature gets Ward 1, it can't be blocked, and it has the name and creature type of the last chosen name and the creature type, and it's equipped too. So Psychic Paper is not as good. It can only choose either the Witch or the Newt, depending on what you need at the time. Spy Kit, that creature will be considered the Witch and the Newt. So if you sacrifice the Newt, like let's say you actually have the actual card, Festering Newt, you sacrifice it and you have Spy Kit on another creature, technically you do have the Witch. So instead of neg 1, the Newt being sacrificed will give something neg 4, and so on. Since we're doing the spy kit situation and name changing things, we could do Mask of the Mimic. It's a 1 blue instant. You sacrifice a creature, search your library for any copy of target creature card, and put it into play. Shuffle your library afterwards. So you can essentially get any non creature card if you have the spy kit out. You can get your new if you don't already have it. There's a lot of options. And then Remembrance is really good for this deck as well. It's a 4 mana white enchantment. Whenever a non-token creature you control is put into the graveyard, you may search your library for a copy of a card that has the same name of that card, put it in your hand, and shuffle your library. So if you're sacrificing it, any creature with the spy kit on it, so it counts as the new. It also counts as any other non-legendary creature. So every time you sack, you get a new creature out. So it's just really effective. If you get all these moving pieces together, you'll be going off. ETB effects will be really good because sacking and bringing them back, sacking and bringing them back is essentially akin to blinking. Sister Hospitaller is a 6 mana Orzhov human cleric. When it ETBs, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. You gain life equal to its mana value, and it's a 3/2. Then you got stuff that like ETBs and entombs, like take something from your deck, puts it into your graveyard. Your commander can get it back, or many of your recursion spells can get it back. Corpse Connoisseur is a 5 mana black zombie wizard. When it enters, you may search your library for a creature card, put it into your graveyard, then shuffle, and then it can unearth for 4, and it's a 3/3. As I said, there's a sub theme for 1 CMC cards, specifically creatures in this deck, because your newt is so important. But you could put other ones in here. You got Rootwater Diver. It's a 1 blue mana merfolk. You tap it, sacrifice it, return target artifact card from your graveyard to your hand. That gets you back your bubbling cauldron. Then you got Kami of the False Hope. You know I love fogs. You know I love life gain. It's a 1 mana white spirit. You sacrifice it, prevent all combat damage that will be dealt this turn. It's a 1/1. So if you're getting this back every single turn, you're going to be a hard target to kill. Since you're going to be gaining so much life if you keep sacrificing the newt, I think it's like 12 if you have 3 opponents, you want to put stuff that says whenever you gain life, target opponent or each opponent loses that much life. Veto Thorn of Duskgrows is a good example of this. It's a 3 mana black legendary creature, vampire cleric. Whenever you gain life, target opponent loses that much life, or you can pay 5 creatures you control get lifelink until end of turn, and it's a 1/3. So hopefully you're gaining you're dealing 12 on top of the 4, so 16 total to at least one opponent. Then you got stuff that searches for artifacts. Like I said, tutoring in this deck is going to be super easy. It's going to be very consistent to get these pieces out, especially since newt can also be a spy kit or it can be a psychic papers. Fabricate, you know it, you love it. It searches for an artifact. Thank you so much for watching till the end of the video. This is an extra kind of video. Normally, I do Saturdays, I do deck videos or lore videos. So I wanted to do an extra one because I love the Halloween season. I have a lot of decks I want to tell you about, and the best way to do that is to get more videos out to you. So if you like it, if you appreciate this video, go ahead, hit a like, comment down below which one would you play, which one would you be scared to play against. Until next time, guys.